Hey everybody, welcome to Future Leaps, the channel where we look at everything in science, technology, and engineering to learn about what they are and discuss what potential they have for the future. This video has a different format from what I normally do, but I wanted to talk about what has been going on in the news lately, specifically with electric vehicles. Electric vehicles is one of the mega trends that I mentioned in my first video, and I think in the past couple of years we have started to see it really pick up, and I really think this year is going to be a big year. I mean, we have large companies coming out saying, hey, we want to get in on this. So first, let's talk about General Motors. They're planning on going all electric by 2035 and phasing out all of their gas and diesel engines. You can scroll down. So here it says at all facilities they will be carbon neutral by 2035. And that's worldwide too. Oftentimes companies will just be carbon neutral in one country where the policy matters and just outsource it to other countries, but the fact that they use worldwide, it makes it seem more promising. Also, Apple, they have an electric car project. There have been a lot of rumors about this the past couple of years, but it seems like this month we're getting a lot of verification, specifically early February. Almost a $3.6 billion deal with Hyundai, and it says here a fully autonomous machine without a driver's seat, which I think will be very interesting. We have seen from Google some conceptual cars without driver's seats, so it'd be interesting to see what Apple comes up with. And again, big surprise from Apple, a company that focuses on technology is moving that towards the car industry. Also, recently Amazon, they have electric delivery vehicles, and according to this Amazon article, it says that they are starting to hit the road. It says down here, about a year ago they purchased 100,000 vehicles, and it seems they are just now starting to test it, and they're going to have to phase into it over the next couple of years. But, 15 cities in 2021, that seems pretty promising as well. It's pretty obvious that one of the biggest issues with Amazon for the environment is the amount of emissions that come from delivery, so this will definitely play a role in cutting that out. And so now let's talk about why this could be happening. Obviously there's a lot of public support for these kinds of motions. The majority of people in, quote, Western countries, the US and Europe, all favor electric vehicles as long as they are cheaper. And a lot of the costs when building an electric vehicle are really starting to go down, and for the driver, they save a lot of money on gas. But also there's a lot of politics to it. I want to point out GM mentioned 2035 as their year they're targeting to do this, and I think this has a lot to do with a lot of policies around phasing out fossil fuel vehicles. So more than 14 countries and 20 cities around the world have proposed banning the sale of vehicles powered by fossil fuels. And if we scroll down, we'll see, I believe there's a map here, that shows, again, these are mostly Western countries. And if you look through the years that they're planning on doing this, I believe the US is here too with the Green New Deal. They're all around that 2035 mark. And let's just zoom in. Governor announced a couple months ago to phase out gasoline-powered cars by 2035. So there's a lot of policy around doing this. As we see here, 50% of all of California greenhouse emissions are from transportation. That is a large chunk that can be cut out. The reasoning behind these policies is a bit more complex, and it also depends on the voters in the area, but really this is a shift that is happening across the world. A lot of American companies are now starting to go into electric vehicles, but also not just in the US, but in China. This Washington Post article says that the next China trade battle could be over electric cars. This makes a lot of sense. For those of you not super familiar with China markets, they have two notable car companies, BYD and NIO. NIO is a startup, but BYD has sold a lot of cars. They're a staple name in the car industry in China, and they are also moving towards electric vehicles. If you're familiar with NIO, it's probably from the stock market. Their stock has jumped, I think, 1,000% over the last year. It's been some insane moves. And that kind of brings us to our next point as to why companies could be making these announcements. Money. Investors nowadays seem to really value companies that do this. Similar to the dot-com bubble, if you mention electric vehicles, the money will come flying in. And we can see that just looking at Tesla's stock. So here's the 5-year, and if we look at the Tesla stock, the beginning of 2020, it was about 1/10 of what it is now. it's just crazy. I mean, look at this market cap of $800 billion. For reference, I think the next biggest car company in the US is about $150–200 billion, and Tesla has not even made that many cars and does not have that much profit behind it. Similarly, you look at the PE ratio. This essentially represents the price of the share in relation to the earnings per share. So if you were to buy the entire company for $800 billion, you would only receive 1/1000th, essentially, of that in actual profit, which would probably be about $500 million. In comparison, the PE ratio of a company is typically 20 or 30, and if it's higher than that, like Tesla is, that kind of represents that people are very optimistic about the company. They are looking into the future. 10 years from now, they think Tesla will be way more profitable than it is now, so they're investing early to get a head start. And if you look throughout the stock market, any company that mentions EVs is growing very quickly. So I think a big reason why we're seeing a lot of companies make these announcements lately is to really capitalize on the current market and investors' interests. I think this was a very strong move by GM because now they are one of the leading companies in EVs, probably behind Tesla. And we'll have to wait a little longer to see the actual vehicles that GM releases. Same with Apple, again, once it's more confirmed. Amazon will have to see how their electric vehicles are coming out. But I mean, I'm very excited to see more about it. I think 2021 is going to be a year where we kind of see a shift. EVs going from this futuristic technology to now where it's more of a common idea, it's more mainstream. And again, money and politics probably do play a role in this. We have an idea of where this megatrend is going, and we could stay more up to date on all of the news. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I just wanted to talk about this. I've been seeing a lot of news about it lately, and I thought it was interesting to mention. If you like this style of video, let me know. I am still planning on continuing making the other kind of video that I do. I have one coming out soon, and just as a little foreshadow, it's also about energy. So look forward to that. Let me know if you like this video. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.